Why hello everybody, Spencer here, also known as Lego Dude 11, and in today's video, this is a brand new review for you out on the channel, and in today's video, I'm going to be discussing the newest Marvel Disney Plus show, Moon Knight, that just concluded last week. So without further ado, let's discuss. Alright, so without further ado, I'm kicking things off with my notes here that I did take down on this show. And these are just notes throughout all the 6 episodes that I've done always for all my reviews that I typically do here on the channel. If you're new here, this show I've just been looking forward to for so long. There have been things from 2022 that I've been looking forward to, or on Disney Plus, that it's been a wild ride. Some good things, some bad things. I'm not here to like rank them or anything like that, but if there's anything, like if you feel like I'm biased here, or just like, man, I like always seem to give like a positive rating to these things, I typically do. My Book of Boba Fett one, I didn't really like. But generally speaking, I do love nerdy things, and the reason I put these videos out is because I like to talk about them. So just a little bit of housekeeping there. Might be a podcast episode here or there sometime in the near future, but I'm going to keep in mind, just because of this review is going to be heavily focused towards biasy maybe, but I am just going to like talk about my love for it. But there are some negatives here and there. But the first note I took down is the score done by Hisham Nazi. I believe I pronounced that right. It's I think it's an Arabic guy. This show is kind of Arabic inspired, but the score and soundtrack in this show is probably, I wouldn't say my favorite. I'm not gonna call it my favorite Marvel Disney Plus soundtrack. It's not my favorite Marvel soundtrack, that's for sure. It's not my favorite Marvel soundtrack, but it's probably one of my favorite Marvel Disney Plus show soundtracks. I mean, WandaVision had a nice soundtrack, but Christoph Beck, I like him. This is just a new, fresh one. Loki also had a unique score as well. I feel like all the Disney Plus Marvel shows have a unique soundtrack in and of themselves. This one, though, just is different in terms of like Arabic songs. The Moon Knight itself, like just the way this composer takes these sounds. I would almost call it a mix of Ludwig Göransson with Marvel. I don't know why. Well, I guess Ludwig Göransson did do a Marvel one, but I don't know. It just feels like something kind of like you would hear at a Black Panther almost, mixed with Arabic sounds. Kind of like, if you can think about that. Kind of like these unique bongo sounds. There's not really any bongos, but just different unique motifs mixed with superhero action. I don't know. That's the vibe I'm trying to describe to you guys. But the score is amazing. I try to bring in more description to you. But just throughout all the action, all the other scenes in the show, the music's well done. I just love talking about it. But I don't want to be a broken record or anything, but I just wanted to talk about a little of my love for this music in this show in particular. So that's what I like about it, and he brings something new. I hope he comes back for other projects in the MCU, but if he doesn't, I'm glad what he brought to the table here. Moving on, I wanted to discuss a topic that I feel like some people are interested in. What drew me into this show, or not just like what brought me into the first episode. And going into the show, what I love about the trailers, and like I don't know if I've addressed it here on the channel, but this show was probably my most anticipated Disney Plus show, or even Marvel show, going in 2022. And the reason for that, I think, not just me, but anybody, is that the Moon Knight character is so different and so unique and like curious, like who is he in the Marvel lore? And I feel like these trailers did a great job of like showing us what the heck is happening, right? And I feel like the show just did that. So when the show came out, I was always intrigued by Moon Knight. I've always loved him in the Lego games, and like in the Marvel. Well, I think he's been in all the Marvel games, if I'm pretty certain about that. But he's just been this unique character, and this very I almost said colorful, but he's not. He's this very, like, just, he has this stance, he has this presence, like, oh my gosh, that looks intimidating. So seeing him getting him this own Disney Plus Marvel show it looks so good. So, the trailers look great, and then when I was just intrigued by it all, and then the first episode came out, and I was blown away, which is something I'll get elaborated on in more in this review video, either one. But, yeah, just the first episode, which is something, I have another thing written down here, which I'll kind of elaborate on in the first episode. I might as well just say it. The cinematography, did I even write that down? I don't think I did. I wrote down great visuals, but the cinematography in this show was magnificent. I mean, I guess there have been Marvel movies where the cinematography is amazing, but this show was probably the show the first Disney Plus show I've actually paid attention to the cinematography on. Like, WandaVision was great, Loki was great, but I haven't really noticed anything where I'm going, oh my god, I need to pause on that and I need to take a picture of it. I mean, I really didn't take a picture of it, but I felt like I just needed to stare at the screen for hours, which I really didn't do. But I could leave the TV on and just go, that shot needs to be a screensaver, literally on every screen. I was just blown away by, like, almost, and that's something I've never really done. Not for a movie, but for a Marvel thing. Like, I love watching these Marvel movies, but this one was like, man, I need to watch this in the theater. So that was something really to appreciate out of the show going into the first episode. And I feel like the other episodes did that as well. So, yeah, that's something that just drew me in as a viewer of this show. Going, next up, I wrote down characters and acting. This was a splendid home run for Marvel in terms of acting. I feel like I don't feel like I've seen a thing where they've done bad acting. Any Marvel project, I don't feel like there's been bad acting, but I feel like this one just was a swing, a massive they knocked it out of the park. Oscar Isaac in this role as Moon Knight was great. I remember back when they announced the show, I heard rumors that Keanu Reeves was going to do Moon Knight. I was like, okay, cool. And I'm like, that sounds like a great idea. And then later when, I think it was when they were, the trailers came out for Dune, and then Dune hit theaters, I was like, okay, that looks like a neat movie. I was looking at the cast, and I'm like, Oscar Isaac, he was in Star Wars. And then they announced, the slate for Phase 4, and Moon Knight was one of them, and Oscar Isaac was cast, I guess. And I'm like, whoa, oh, cool, I cannot wait to see him in this role, and everything, like, from the trailers to the show, it just delivered on all the levels, so that's great. The protagonist of the show, Ethan Hawke, character, Arthur Harrow, was I almost said a must-have, but he blew me away. I don't know anything about the Moon Knight comics, but I do know about, like, watching clips of Moon Knight and, Lego games, video games, etc. But this character was very, very neat, well done. Again, I know nothing about Arthur Harrow, I don't know the origin, but I do know just the presence Ethan Hawke brought. I have seen him in other stuff. I just like his acting, so therefore him in this role was great. Excuse me. His performance from beginning to end. I apologize for that cut there. I believe I was talking about Ethan Hawke, and I kind of was in the middle of a sentence, but he just nailed it from beginning to end with his acting. The actress, I don't remember her name because it's like a hyphenated name, like Layla. The actress who played, it's like May Calloway, but I think it might be pronounced something different. The actress who played Layla was very, very nice. I don't know how else to describe it, but she had a great presence. I don't like this show. Just sort of like Hawkeye, I don't know when we'll see these characters again, but I hope we see, like, I really, really want to see Moon Knight, Oscar Isaac come back. If we could, I would love to see Layla. She was a great character. But yeah, she did well in this show. There were other Avatar characters here and there that were nice. And now, okay, there were. I'm looking at my notes here just to talk about things, but there's other things that I have issues with that I'll go into a bit later here. But I do want to talk about like the visuals because they were stunning. I already talked about the cinematography, but I do also love like the visuals with the staff, the chaos magic that you got going on throughout the entire show, the purple effects. But it's great. I think that they nailed it. The budget was great. And like I said, throughout the whole show, it just starts off mind-bending and bonkers, and you don't know what's happening. And I feel like when people going into the show are like, "Oh, this show is based off of like socio identity disorder," and it's being rude and offensive towards this not culture, but towards this like idea, or towards this, I almost said culture, but towards this disorder. It's being rude, like but it wasn't. It dealt with a crucial real world problem with this guy that has this mental problem, and it actually made it quite unique to learn about this and how this guy has like superpowers and all this. But throughout the whole show, it's just super mind-bending and bonkers, and that's what I love about this. Like, Hawkeye kind of dealt with this different, grounded show, and that's what I love about Loki too. It's high up on that list there. WandaVision, I loved it because of the sitcom vibe, but this just takes the MCU in a whole different route with the Egyptian gods and all this. I think my favorite part was when episode 4 ended. By the way, if I didn't mention this, there's spoilers, a few spoilers in this video when I get to the end of the finale. But episode 4, when episode 4 ended, and you just see the hippo goddess Tuaret, and the god of mothers and pregnancy, childbirth and pregnancy. That was the best cliffhanger. I feel like this show dealt with had the best of any cliffhangers in any Marvel show. Maybe WandaVision did that, but this one was... I loved episode 4's ending. Episode 4 and episode 5 I feel like were my favorites. The finale definitely was great. The first one was just so mind-bending. It was just so great and bonkers, and like what are you getting yourself into there? And going on with that, to nice segue there, this show is the probably, other than WandaVision, like this one ties up the Marvel show that I have watched the most. Okay, think about this. There were so many segments in this show that I just rewatched the most. Over again. I'm like, wait, what? Just play that again. So I don't know. You have to let me know. Like, what's the one that you watched the most? I feel like some people really love Falcon Winter Soldier. I've watched that once and skipped it. I don't know what it is. I mean, I do know what it is. The writing was just not good in my opinion, but this one, I have rewatched so many moments of this show that I can't get enough of it. I feel like that this show will never lose like discussion. I feel like it's just going to continuously be talked about. It's never going to flutter away. Because I'm always going to remember it. I don't feel like it's going to get lost. I feel like Hawkeye is going to get lost at some point, which is a shame. Maybe. I don't think... I mean, it's on Disney+, but I just feel like it's not going to be... Hawkeye's not going to be one of those shows that's going to be talked about as much. But, hey, what do we know? I don't know. Maybe it could be. But, also, something else I want to talk about. Like I said, as I mentioned, the characters in the show. There was great exposition and stuff. There was great exposition in, some of the episodes. Like, there was lots of action, and there were different action segments throughout each of the episodes that like I said, I continuously watched it. But in episode, I think it was maybe 5 that it started, because there was, different dialogue and all this, but episode 5 was the big, heavy exposition episode, which is not a bad thing, but if you're going into it thinking, oh yay, action, that one's the one where you're gonna have to sit and like listen and pay attention a bunch. And then going into the finale, there's big, heavy battle, fight action, which concludes in that finale. There was episode 5 is kind of like the backstory and like origin, which this is not a huge origin story, but episode 5 just tells you more about Mark Spector and Stephen Grant as a character in that particular episode, and which I personally like that they told that. I didn't need a whole lot of backstory as to who he is, but I liked the direction that they went. And again, it just kind of gets crazier and crazier as you go along with the story. So, I think, with that said, I think from there I'm going to talk about my little nitpicks in this series, and then discuss the finale and my thoughts as a whole. So, the little bit of issues, like again, I mentioned the characters, and these are the characters that I didn't discuss already. But in episode 3, episode 1 and 2, we get Khonshu, which is the god of Moon Knight that has taken over Mark Spector as the Avatar, also known as Stephen Grant, that you see, who doesn't know what's going on, which is the main character. And then we get that in episode 1 and 2, and then when he's going on his mission with Layla, we find out his wife, what have you. And in episode 3, he's going on this mission to find Amit, the statue, the stone statue of Amit before our villain Arthur Harrow does. So you see in episode 3, going on his quest, he goes to Cairo, finds these people, this mercenary, he is a mercenary, which is fun, and this group of people, and the leader, Anton Mogart, with his assistant, quote unquote, this guy, Beck, okay, B-E-K. So, in the comics, Anton Mogart is called a Midnight Man. So I look it up before the series starts. I'm like, cool, these are the characters that are going to be in this show. This guy, Gaspard, I don't even know how to pronounce it, forget that, is playing Anton Mogart. I'm like, cool, Midnight Man, that looks like a pretty sick character. So I'm assuming that these guys are going to become like Moon Knight, Midnight Man, and then we have their villain, Arthur Harrow. I wonder if they're going to team up against them, have a fight, which, okay, in the comics, that's what happens, and not Marvel shows aren't always accurate, blah, blah, blah. But I was, and this critique of mine has something to do with real world problems. This actor died a day, or I guess not a day, but soon before they finished filming. They had to rewrite stuff, and he died tragically due to a skiing accident. It's very tragic. But they couldn't, rework that. Like, he was only in one episode. And I understand. But another thing is this guy, Beck, who was his assistant, who was his, right-hand man, he, in the comics, is Bushman. And somehow in the show, it's not called Bushman. And they even reference Bushman, multiple times. And I'm going, wait a minute, is it that guy? So I'm super confused, and I look up why he's not in the show. Because it's too much. It sounds like a Black Panther character. I'm like, who cares? Just have him in the show. And I was really disappointed by that front, because I'm going, okay, so you have Anton Mogart here, but you don't even actually have him as Midnight Man. Bit of a shame, and I know the reason as to why, because he's not alive now. Rest in peace. But I'm going left come on. And, which, in the grand scheme of things, that did not disappoint. I still love this series. I still will rewatch all of it, unlike Falcon and Winter Soldier, which I probably don't need to watch again. But, yeah. And so, I don't know. That kind of takes us to the finale, and where I kind of, want to discuss the future of it. The finale, I will say this. I love WandaVision all of it. This finale did not disappoint me, unlike the Boba Fett. It didn't disappoint me like the Book of Boba Fett series finale disappointed me. I know that's Star Wars, but take that with what you will. It's still Disney Plus, and I feel like this Disney Plus stuff can go either direction. But this finale did not disappoint me. I heard Moon Knight fans talking about it, and they're like, this was super disappointing. I can agree and disagree on different occasions, different things, because I just thought this show was bonkers. I love the action. I love the fight choreography. There were some kind of cheesy things, I think, with the avatars fighting, but I feel like it was deserved. I feel like Khonshu and Amit going at each other when Amit's released, I just liked that. I thought it was very, very neat and well done. Also, I am trying to pay attention. I'm focused where we're going. Layla having the new costume as Tuareg gave her was just very, very insane looking. And I was like blown away by like, yes! Action time by Layla. She just opens her wings, almost looks like Falcon, comic book Falcon. But then they go at it with the whole action scene. I could not get enough of it. The way they choreographed, Steven flipping, using the poles, and then using the two moons going back. I'm like, there's the trailer shot. So they showed us that. And yeah, the finale was, I think, I'm gonna say it paid off. It paid off. It paid off in my terms. And okay, going into the series, I was looking for a fresh, brand new, unique show, origin show, which is what this exactly was, and it all paid off in the end. In my book, in my opinion, and if some people say, "Man, it's all right," that's okay. That's totally your opinion. You don't have to have the same thoughts as me. This is all my thoughts, but I loved it. I loved it. It's not my favorite. WandaVision is still my favorite. I'm going to put Loki next. I don't know. It's so hard for me because Loki was just this unique turn of events on the MCU. But this is a fresh, brand new origin story that takes the mind-bending and bonkersness to a whole new level in the MCU that's unlike anything we've ever seen. So I don't know. I don't know how to... I don't like really ranking these things, but WandaVision is definitely my top. Maybe Loki ties it. Then underneath, next second is Moon Knight. I'm not even putting What If in there. It doesn't need to be ranked. I don't think What If needs to be ranked. But then underneath that would be Falcon Winter Soldier. No, scratch that. Hawkeye underneath Moon Knight. Then Falcon Winter Soldier. Apologies to all you Falcon Winter Soldier fans. But anyway, the finale for me paid off. And I feel like I heard things saying that they're rushed. I kind of agree. But at the end of the day, this story concluded itself for what it was, and I'm now going to discuss about the future because I feel like that the way the finale and the battles happened, with the conclusion of the protagonist villain of the show, I feel like we can get more down the line. Now, in this, there's the post-credit scene here, so this is going to be mega spoiler mode. So if you don't want to listen, back out now, and then once you've seen it, come back. But the tease, the biggest tease. So in episode 4, we see this when he's in his mental hospital. You see the third sarcophagus when the two personas, Mark and Steven, meet. And you see a third one, and you go, "Who's that?" It's who we all thought was Jake Lockley, and in the post-credit scene of the show, we do see Jake Lockley appear. So I was not blown away. I was so hyped to see him. So the question is, does Oscar Isaac as Moon Knight come back? I think he does at some point. Down the line, what project we don't know. I would really love to see a Moon Knight season 2. Now, we're getting an Agatha show, which is not WandaVision Season 2, but I'm pumped for that. We're getting a Loki Season 2. I am beyond pumped for that. A Moon Knight Season 2 would just be amazing. But if we don't, I would still like to see the Moon Knight character. Jake Lockley is a great tease, but I just don't know where to see him. I don't know. it's out there, it's a thought, but this series for me definitely paid off in everything I was looking for. Again, for Moon Knight fans, they might say, "Man, this series wasn't for me." I mean, I was really curious to see who this character was and learn more about him, and I feel like I definitely did. And I cannot wait to see him down the line. And this series is not my favorite, but it's not the weakest either. So there's my thoughts. I'll rank this series a thumbs up. I'm trying not to be too biased here. It's not a 10 out of 10. I'll give it a 9. And I feel like for that space in between 9 and 10, there was room for improvement, but I mean, it's certified fresh. I totally agree with IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes. I'll give it a 9.10. It's not the worst scene I've ever seen, and it's definitely in between Loki and WandaVision there. So that's my thoughts on it. It's definitely stream this. I'd even say binge it. Go for it. But anyways, that's my thoughts on it. I was debating on doing another video about like ranking the Marvel and Disney Plus shows, but I kind of said scrap that. But anyway, that's my thoughts on Moon Knight. Let me know what you thought down in the comments below. Be sure to follow me at Boba Fett Jedi Master, links down below as well. Stay tuned for my next movie review, which is Marvel's Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, coming up soon next week. And thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow me. Don't forget to keep calm, play Lego. See you guys in the next review. Bye, everyone.